G'day everybody and welcome back to a brand new video here on the YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be going through my week 2 finals tips and predictions, as well as reviewing my week 1 finals tips and predictions. Now if you guys do go on to enjoy this video, could you please show me that by liking the video, subscribing to the channel if you're new, and of course hitting that notification bell so you can be notified when new videos coming out. Enough wasting your time, let's just get straight into it. Now before we get into our tips for this week, we're going to have to go through last week's tips and see how many I got incorrect. In total, I got 1 out of 4 tips correct, so not great, but there's only 4 games, so you can't expect me to get too high, can you? First tip I got incorrect was Port v Cats, and what a smashing that was. It was being played at the Adelaide Oval, so you were at least thinking Port Adelaide would put up a fight, but I don't even think they scored 50 points. I think they started in the early 40s. And the Cats just went out there and showed just how scary they are going to be in this final series, and after winning the flag in 2022, they are contenders for it already for this year. Obviously, the Cats have progressed onto a preliminary final, and last year Port Adelaide made the top 4 and then went out in straight sets, and if Port Adelaide don't win this week, it's going to be the exact same as last year. The next tip I got incorrect was Dogs v Hawks. These are 2 really informed sides, and I was just really did not know where to go for this one. I wasn't too sure which club was actually more informed, but after the Hawks got the job done by 37 points, it was pretty obvious who is more informed. The Hawks, they're just so entertaining to watch. I just don't know how to explain it. They're so entertaining to watch. I was rooting for the Dogs in this year's final series, but I think now I'm going to jump on the Hawks bandwagon. And the final tip that I did get incorrect in this week's tipping was Giants versus the Swans. I know majority of people would have chosen the Swans as it was being played at the SCG, but I genuinely just thought the Swans would go into it favourites and the Giants would come out as the better team. Currently there are 2 teams that have already progressed onto the preliminary final, being the Cats and the Swans, and now I'm going to go through my week 2 finals tips and see who will be taking those teams on. The first semi-final of the year takes place on the Friday, where Port Adelaide is going to take on the Hawthorn Hawks at the Adelaide Oval. Port Adelaide are obviously coming off a loss by an absolute smashing against the Geelong Cats, while the Hawks are coming off a win against the Dogs by 37 points. Zach Butters was subbed off last week due to an injury and is unlikely to play this week, you would think. Quite frankly, I just don't know where Port Adelaide went wrong. In that first quarter, they seemed pretty even, the 2 teams, and then after that first quarter, the Cats were just the better team overall. And you do have to take into consideration that Port Adelaide did have the home ground advantage. They had the home ground advantage, and they just showed how little that actually means. But their efficiency inside 50 pretty much sums the whole game up, with their efficiency inside 50 being only 37%. Last week, the Hawks got to see Jai Newcombe rack up 35 disposals, with 15 of them being in that third quarter. But D'Ambrosio also racked up over 30 touches, being 32 disposals. The Hawks also got to see 2 first-time finals players kick 3 or more goals and have one of their career best games. Obviously, Nick Watson kicked 4 goals and Cole Shadir kicked 3 goals for. When you really think about it, the Hawks were quite inaccurate last week, with them kicking 14 goals and they still ended up with more behinds. In the power, well, they went 7 goals 12 in that game. Port Adelaide were winning majority of the ruck contest, but they just found it really hard to win a clearance, while the Hawks were winning majority of the ruck hitouts, but always winning the clearances. But you do have to give Port Adelaide credit when the credit is deserved, with them racking up more contested marks. Not only that, they have more tackles inside 50 and just more tackles in general. Although Port Adelaide do sit at 2nd and the Hawks sit at 7th, I just don't see that really meaning too much, because if there was a ladder for the most informed sides in the AFL, I'd say the Hawks would be number 1. And last week, Port Adelaide absolutely proved how much the home ground advantage actually doesn't mean to them. So I'm going to tip the Hawks to win this game by 26 points, and they'll face off against the Swans next week at the SCG for the preliminary final. And then the second semi-final on the Saturday, we've got the Giants taking on the Brisbane Lions at the NG Stadium. The Giants are coming off a 6-point loss against the Swans, while the Lions are coming off a 28-point win against the Carlton Blues. With just moments to go in the second quarter in the Lions v Blues matchup, it looked as if the Lions were going to leave the Blues absolutely scoreless in that first half, which has never been done in a single finals game ever. But by the end of the game, the Blues scored a fair bit and made the margin a little bit more respectable. Cam Rayner kicked a total of 3 goals during that game, and Dane Zorko, All-Australian this year, nearly racked up 30 disposals but sat at 29. The Giants had both Aaron Cadman and Jesse Hogan kick a total of 3 goals last week, and Tom Green racked up 32 disposals. The disposal efficiency was even during the Battle of the Bridges, with both teams having a disposal efficiency of 70%. The Giants were expected to win an upset against the Swans, but with just moments to go in the final quarter, Joel Amartey kicked the winning goal for the Swans, and the Giants just had no way to come back from that. The Blues had a better disposal efficiency last week against the Lions, but their efficiency inside 50 didn't even compare. Jack Payne, after just coming back from injury, has been subbed out last week due to another injury, and I don't see him playing for the rest of the final series, to be honest with you. The Giants led for the majority of that game, with them being in front for 121 minutes, and the Swans had only been in front for 5 minutes. This game is being played at the Giants Stadium, NG Stadium, which will give the Giants a little bit more of an advantage. Including this week, the Giants will have officially played at the NG Stadium 9 times this year, and they've only lost 2 games there. Both times the Giants faced off against the Lions this year at the Gabba and Manuka, the Giants won both of them, one of them being by less than 20 and the other being by over 50. Both teams are pretty even in skill, and the latter pretty much shows that, with the Giants sitting in 4th and the Lions sitting in 5th. Both teams obviously have lost the same amount of games, and they would have won the same amount of games if it wasn't for the Lions' draw earlier in the season. The Giants do have Tom Green and Lockie Whitfield, who are averaging 30 disposals a game, and this is a very hard game to tip, but I'm just going to base it off where it's been played. So I'm going to go the Giants to get the job done here in an absolute thriller by 7 points, and the Giants move on to a prelim against the Cats. Alrighty everyone, this video does have to come to an end now, but make sure you please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and of course hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I'm predicting the prelim next week, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.